Well, it's time to get a little bit more serious. We're talking about state capture now, which certainly doesn't happen overnight. It's a long, drawn-out process. When corruption is tolerated, it instigates the process of state capture. And if you look at the South African example, if we face facts, corruption had started long before then. The conversation of corruption had become mainstream. Now, a shining example is the former National Police Commissioner, Jackie Selebi. I mean, how long did we have to wait before steps were taken against him? And I'm not trying to throw shade at a particular former president, but the fact is that the integrity and trust of our administration is under severe pressure, and so too is the integrity and trust in the accounting profession, which has been dragged through the mud in all of this. And I've got Bongani Coka, CEO of the South African Institute of Professional Accountants, on the line. Welcome to the show, Bongani.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Let's talk quite frankly about how the accounting profession goes about repairing its reputation, because reputations are hard to build, but they really can be destroyed overnight, as we know. And this is particularly true of the audit and accountancy profession, which lives off of its credibility. Where does the profession start in the effort to regain and rebuild that trust? What role do you as a professional body play in ensuring we repair some of the damage?
Yes, the starting point is that in every instance where we pick up that there's an unethical behavior, the first thing that you do is to accept that there's wrongdoing, and then you immediately investigate and then do consequence management. So those that are found to be doing wrong, they must face the consequences. Then you go out and indicate exactly what went wrong, what you are going to do to make sure that the wrongdoing does not recur. That would be one way of ensuring that the public regains trust on the professional accountants who are supposed to embrace that trust.
Bongani, if you look at the fact that the profession has this stated and quite clear expected objective of acting in the public interest, whether it's related to audit or accounting or tax or any of the other forensic services, surely that's going to require that you impose complete independence requirements on the profession from here. Firms shouldn't be allowed to perform any type of assurance, including auditing or tax or forensic services, on the same client. In other words, a firm shouldn't be allowed to perform the tax or the auditing work for a client and also provide accounting and consulting work. Isn't that a first step?
Yes, what is important is that when you service the client, you should ensure that you are not conflicted. So if you are doing those services within the same organization, you must separate, because you cannot be a doctor as well as do the prescription. So you need to separate the services that you are providing so that that trust can be relied upon.
What are you as an industry body doing at this stage? We await the Independent Regulatory Board of Auditors, the IRBA, reporting to KPMG. What is SAIPA doing?
What we did last week was to call on all the member bodies, other professional bodies. So we got together and said, let's ensure that we work together. We want to share the information regarding wrongdoing. We want to make sure that the professional member who does wrongdoing from SAICA doesn't cross over to SAIPA. So if you are aware of any member that has done something wrong, we need to ensure to the other bodies to make sure that that member is removed from the profession or is dealt with adequately. And on the other hand, we want to promote ethical behavior.
Fine, though. Very rarely do we actually see professional accountants held to account. Bongani, I hear what you're saying. It sounds great. It's codified in ethics and voluntary codes of conduct. Bongani, I hear what you're saying. It's codified in voluntary codes of conduct and ethical prescription. But in reality, we see very little accountability.
There is, because the bodies you're referring to, they've got investigation committee and disciplinary committee. And we encourage members to report wrongdoing. And upon that happening, we immediately embark on investigation and we discipline members who are found to be doing wrong.
Just a final question, Bongani. If you look at the fact that accountants and auditors, in effect, receive a license from the state to perform a specific legislative function, for example, to issue a report on financial statements, surely a question can be raised as to whether accountants are therefore subject to the same public scrutiny, the same transparency and accountability in the same manner as organs of state.
Certainly, there has to be a level of openness in what they are doing. Because for you to be trusted, you should share openly the information that comes to your attention. And if you are a professional auditor or an accountant and something wrong comes to your attention, you need to ask management to address it. And because you are acting in the public interest, you do not be satisfied that that issue has been corrected adequately. You are compelled in terms of our code of ethics to report that matter to the authority. And then in that way, society would have basis on which they can trust the profession.
Well, I think we're going to have to see far more accountability to regain a lot of that broken trust. Bongani Coka, CE of the South African Institute of Professional Accountants.